What's up, duders? Let's talk about some early game units with skills you might not have known about. Alright, let's take a look at, for example, this little girl here. She becomes Tattoo, and Tattoo has an amazing skill right here. It's kind of like almost like a Ciara skill, except she blows up the continuous damage effects. And on top of blowing up the continuous damage effects, the damage she inflicts increases by 50% for each effect, each harmful effect. So pair with like a Beretta or any of these other units here that inflict, what is this, continuous damage? Yeah, inflicts continuous damage for 3 turns. I think this guy, yeah, right there, inflicts continuous damage for 3 turns. Who else? I think he might. Is he one of the ones? Yeah, inflicting continuous damage on all the enemies for 3 turns. There's a lot of these early fire units right here that inflict continuous damage. Now, she's an attack-based mon. She's only a 2-star. You can skill her up super easy. Right here, she inflicts her own continuous damage. So you pair with 2 or 3 continuous damage inflicting mons, and then load up a mon with continuous damage, and then hit him with this. That could be dangerous. That's just a unit that nobody talks about or nobody ever would think to use. Another one. Let's look at this guy. He awakens into Garochi or Garosh, whatever his name is. Right here, he recovers 10% of his own HP every turn. Like that's nice. So, and that's a passive. So it's just like it's not even having to use a skill. It just automatically. Right here, inflicting damage 2 times. Each attack has a 30% chance to stun a target. Nice. Proportionate to max HP, so you make them high HP. And you know, this first one blocks heals. Like, that's a nice skill for an early game player. Like, to block somebody from healing, that's great. And you could possibly stun with that. You know, you can stun somebody and next turn, you know, block the heal. It's a pretty nice early game unit that no one really talks about. Sath, I never hear anybody really talking about him anywhere late game. Few reasons he's good. Like, inflicts continuous damage and disturbs HP recovery. Heal block. How nice is that? And then this right here, inflicts damage to all enemies. Always lands as critical if the enemy's HP is 30% lower. 30% or lower. So when an enemy's almost dead, near death, he's always going to land a critical hit. And then this skill right here, amazing. If you're farming with this guy and you have him like high attack, crit damage attack, he takes a turn and kills an enemy, he gets another turn. He kills another one, gets another turn, kills another one, gets another turn. Great for secret dungeons, great for farming. It could even be good in PvP. I mean, just an all-around good unit. I never hear anybody talking about. Let's go over this guy right here. Awakens into Dagor. Dagor. You know, he increases his leader skill, increases defense for wind wands. So if you're going up against a water team, you want to bring wind team. It's nice. This right here strikes the enemy's camp to inflict damage on all enemies, decreasing their attack bar. He can increase AoE attack bar decrease 30%. Nice skill. This right here increases the attack power of all allies for 2 turns and removes 2 harmful effects. It's like a cleanser that boosts attack power at the same time, you know. And then this first skill, he can provoke. You know, you got a unit about to use their 3rd skill. He hits them, provokes them, keeps them from using it. Now they can only use their 1st skill. It's a nice early game unit. Not very many people talk about this guy, Shakon. If your HP is higher than the enemy's, your attack will deal additional damage proportionate to your max HP. It's a passive. So every time you hit somebody, if your max HP is higher, you're going to apply additional damage. This inflicting damage 2 times. Each attack has a 30% chance to stun the target. The damage is proportionate to your max HP. So the damage is proportionate to your max HP, and then the passive, if it's HP, it'll deal more additional damage. And this recovers or disturbs the HP recovery. Heal block. Great for bosses, PvP, you know, even world boss. You know, anytime you can block HP or block HP recovery, it's a good thing. This guy, similar to his brother Sath, you know, that first turn, if the enemy dies, automatic another turn. Great, could be great for farming. Inflicts damage to all enemies. Always lands critical, same thing as his brother, and deals damage from the winds of the heavens. Increases as your HP decreases. And the cold timer is removed, the enemy dies. So you kill somebody with this, there's no cooldown. It's just reusable again. HP decreases. Damage increases as your HP decreases. So the lower your HP, the stronger he gets. And then he uses this and it's automatically reusable again. That's like a single target to shore. You know? I don't hear many people talking about him. There's a few other good units here, but I always hear people talking about them. Let's look at I think all the werewolves are good. Vigor. Attacks enemy 3 times. Each attack has a 35% chance to decrease the enemy's defense for 3 turns. So a 3-turn defense break. And right there it's reusable in 4 turns. So it's probably going to go down to 3 turns. Once you max the skill out. Increases according to your max HP. 3-turn defense break is nice. Especially for early game. Recovers the HP of all allies by 15%. Now he has a heal. And also a speed buff. So now, you know, he heals your units and buffs their speed. And then this just disturbs their HP recovery. Heal block. So he has defense break, speed buff, and heal block, and a heal. I mean, but the guild leader skill could be, I mean, it would be a lot better if it was universal. Attack power 21% in guild. But it's a good unit to have early game. Wayne, the water bounty hunter, increases the attack bars of all allies by 30%, also increasing their attack speed for 2 turns. That's a Bernard. You know, that's a Bernard Bernard's skill, third skill. Attacks the enemies with 2 arrows and attacks consecutively with a 30% chance. Chain fire. So he can fire 2 to 10 turns with the second skill. With the 50% chance if the enemy's HP is higher. So you hit somebody with a little bit higher HP than you, he can fire up to 10 times. Can completely destroy somebody. Shoots 2 precise arrows that aim for the enemy's weak spot. Each hit has a 25% chance to ignore the enemy's defense. So 2 turns, 25% chance each hit to ignore defense. Can be pretty dangerous. Let's see. Here, let's go back here. I want to check these 2 units out. Her, Azalea, shoots a flurry of arrows attacking all enemies 4 to 6 times. It could hit up to 4 to 6 times on different enemies. Each attack has a 20% chance to reduce their attack speed for 2 turns. That's nice right there. And Necro shoots 2 arrows and stuns the enemy if both enemies hit the same target. Now if you're using PvP and you're down to the last character, it's definitely going to stun. But if they're all 4 there and for some reason it hits both of them, both arrows hit the same target, stun, which is nice. Which is also a multi-hit skill, good for Necro. Attacks the enemy 3 times with a whirling storm of fire. Stuns the enemy for 1 turn with a 20% chance. That stun is good for PvP, but the 3 time, each skill you got 4 to 6 times, 2 times, 3 times. Necromon, great early game Necromon, and Lukasha, attack randomly with sharp feathers 6 times. Each strike each strike reduces the enemy's attack bar by 20%. So it could be good for PvP, but 6 times is Necro, you know. Hurl razor sharp feathers to attack multiple enemies at once. That means it's shooting out a couple. Could be 2, 3. Necro right there. And attacks the enemy with fierce kicks. May weaken the enemy's defense for 2 turns with fierce kicks. So a defense breaker with multi-hitter. Necro. And I'll show you one more before we cut this one short. Randy. He has a guild leader skill for speed, 16%. This increases the critical rate and defense for 3 turns. So it puts defense buff on all your mons and increases their critical rate. Nice. This right here, same as his brother Wayne, attacks consecutively. If the enemy's HP is higher, can shoot 2 to 10 times. I have him 6-starred, and when I was early game, somebody had a defense break and I had a attack buff. He'd shoot them 10 times, just wreck whatever it was going after. And same as this first skill, 25% chance to ignore defense, 2 hits. He can gun something down with that first skill. There a lot more of these units. I've been going over them, checking them out, looking into them. And early game, there's some ridiculously good skills for some of these that can be very, very, very useful, that you never see or never hear anybody talking about, because everybody's always talking about late game, end game, or showing you that stuff. And these units, some of these units are amazing. Like, even some of these units are making comebacks. Like Mav, you never heard about Mav, but now all of a sudden Mav's a big thing. Mainly because of this removes a harmful effect and decreases on all, or removes one harmful effect on all allies and decreases their skill cooldown by 1 turn each. He over the course of time became amazing for that, to help clear TOA. People were even using him PvP arena, and it's chance to stun right there, and recovers it HP by 25% and provokes enemies. People were building them up heavy defense and HP and provoking something at the same time as they're reducing cooldowns on skills. And I'm gonna go over some more of these units and get into why they're good and where they're good. But for now, like, check it out. Look into, like, actually start reading the skills on these monsters and thinking, don't just go with what everybody else says to build. Check out, like, what you need, like, where you're failing. If you can't beat a Theomars because he has that endure, you can get him down there, and then the endure props, and then you don't know what to do. We'll find something that removes that, and that's the character you want to build to work on, or you want to stun him or provoke him so that he's not hitting you. If you can't beat, everything out there has counterattack mons, and they have a weakness. Every character in the game has a weakness, and if you can figure it out, you'll be able to make it a lot farther, a lot quicker. But remember, don't feed double mons to your 2 stars and 3 stars. So, alright, if you guys like this, hit that like button. Leave a comment or question. Anything you want to see. Anything you want to see me build. Anything you want to see, period, just let me know. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'm out of here. Thanks, guys.